Okay. I would like to begin by asking if anyone has any questions. In 2 days, this period closes. I am almost finished with all grades, so I will be posting it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow around, tomorrow at noon, tomorrow around 12 o'clock, all grades will be available. And Friday in the evening, I will leave my schedule so that you can contact me if you have any questions. Okay, I will socialize all grades on Wow Virtual. You will see the different links to the different groups. So this group is group 53. You'll click on group 53 and you will be able to see all of your grades. You will find your grade based on your student's ID number. Okay, so everyone please be attentive tomorrow on Wow Virtual on the announcements, and it will go to your email. I will be sending all grades for period 1. I want to share with you, well, first let me ask, are there any questions? Everyone should be able to see their grades for the first midterm, the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking. I have enabled the writing and the speaking so that you can see your grade. So please make sure that you take a look at that on Wow Virtual. Okay. Now, I would like to share with you our pacing, where we are in our semester. So last week we finished our first midterm and we finished period number 1. We are now in period number 2, beginning with week 6. Last class, we spent the entire class working on the writing production. The writing production. Today we are going to work on indirect questions. Okay, we will be working on indirect questions. Here on Wow Virtual, in the announcements, on week 6, I mentioned this very information. I said the first exam is finished. Please note all grades will be socialized on Wow Virtual on this platform. So if you have any questions about a grade, you can find me in a tutoring time or contact me on Hangouts. Tomorrow, when I post the grades, I will put a schedule, probably from 5 to 6 or 5 to 6:30, where I will be available with a link to Google Hangouts where you can find me if anyone has any questions about their grade. Okay? This week, week 6, we are beginning the second period. And our new topic is international food and travel. Our first period topic was transportation. Now we are going to focus on international food and travel. Last class on Tuesday, we gave feedback for the written production, and today we're going to work on indirect questions. And I sent this information. Things to do. I asked you to review a video that we did together last class. I asked you to review your midterm grades and have any questions, bring them to class. I asked you to review this indirect questions PowerPoint. So first, let me make sure, are there any questions about the midterm grades? One last time. Okay, so now we're going to work on indirect questions. I sent you these 2 PowerPoints for you to review. I hope that everyone has reviewed these PowerPoints. Today we're going to be practicing them. When I send you a review, I expect you to review. It's not a grade, no tiene una nota, but it's a review and you need to review it before class. Really quickly, well, antes de entrar a eso, let's look at homework number 1. Homework number 1 is about this writing, about the writing. So I say homework number 1, opinion paragraph correction, period 1, week 3, and it is due by class B on WOW Virtual. O sea, today. This homework number 1 is due today. Where do you find this homework? You can find this homework here on WOW Virtual. You click in the first period, transportation, and you go down to week 3. If you remember, we did this together in class, opinion paragraph first period. Como pueden notar, bueno, let me look at all participants. I have 138 participants and 105 have submitted it. Your essay for this opinion paragraph, ¿todos se acuerdan de esto? This was where I gave you the prompt in class and we spent the entire class writing. Yes? Okay, perfect. You will find this grade if you click here on WOW Virtual and you click on opinion paragraph first period, te va a llevar aquí, and you're going to see your assignment and your grade. For example, this student can see their opinion paragraph, and what they need to do for homework number 1 of period 2 is grab this information and copiar. Okay? And then they are going to go to, ya la tienen copiada, they have it copied, they're going to go to transportation again, and they're going to go to, en vez de opinion paragraph first period, they're going to go to opinion paragraph correction and click here. Ya 35 personas have submitted this. No son muchos, it's not a lot. You need to submit this. How? Supongamos, me voy a hacer como si fuera estudiante. When you enter, you will see this. It says, "Dear student, you are invited to pay attention when making corrections to your paragraph." Por eso hicimos la práctica la clase pasada. You must copy and paste here your first version, que es lo que yo hice. Copié mi primera versión. And then you will write your corrections below. Please write correction. So, la hemos copiado, I've copied it. I'm going to go down to the bottom a donde dice add submission, and I'm going to click, and this box is going to appear. I will click here and I'm going to paste my original, my first opinion paragraph. I'm going to space, I'm going to write correction, y basado en lo que hemos aprendido over the last time, esa era la primera opinion paragraph that we did. That was the first one. You guys now know more about opinion paragraphs. So I want you guys to write your corrections. You write all the corrections that you need to make and you go save changes. This is your first homework for the first period. Okay? Please make sure you complete this. La voy a extender. Era para hoy. It was for today. I'm going to extend it until Sunday. Please make sure you turn this in to me by Sunday. Okay? Any questions about the homework? Okay, perfect. So since we don't have any questions about the first period and we don't have any questions about homework, let's go to indirect questions. This is our first topic in our second period. Indirect questions. Actually, before we do that, let me show you this. When we talk about indirect questions, I sent you in the announcements this review indirect questions PowerPoint. Really quickly, let's take a look at the information. Here, you can see what indirect questions are. I want you to imagine that you are in a restaurant or you are walking on the street. You're a pedestrian walking in the streets of Miami or New York, and you need to go to the bathroom really bad. If you go to someone and you say, "Where's the bathroom?" No te va a ir muy bien. It's not going to go well for you. Okay? They're probably going to be like, "Yo, who are you? Get away from me." Es muy agresivo. It's too aggressive. So indirect questions are a way for us to soften, to be more polite when we are asking questions to strangers. We do the same thing in Spanish. For example, if I don't know someone and I go, ¿Dónde está el baño? No, that's going to be very weird. That's going to be very weird. I should tap them and I should say, Disculpa, ¿me podrás decir a dónde queda el baño? Something like that is much more polite. That is an indirect question. We do the same thing in English. Okay, we do the same thing in English. So let's take a look at how we do this. When we make an indirect question, we want to begin with a polite introduction. Algo polite means nice, a nice introduction. Algo que suavice, something that's soft, that the person no lo sorprendemos cuando hacemos la pregunta, right? Like we don't want to shock anyone. So we want to be nice and we want to say, excuse me. This is one. Excuse me. Could you tell me, me podrás decir, could you tell me where the bathroom is? Ahora, this is a polite introduction. This is one of many. There's many, many, many. Podemos también decir, do you know? Do you know? Y la pregunta. Can you tell me? Do you mind telling me? Would you mind telling me? Is it okay if? These are some other introductions that we can do. Okay? All of these are polite introductions. This is the first thing that you need to do when you are creating an indirect question. Let's take a look at some examples. Here are some examples of questions that are in the direct form. For example, this one is the present simple, and the question is, where is the bank? Where is the bank? If we want to make this an indirect question, well, we begin with a polite introduction. Can you tell me? This is the polite introduction. Here, can you tell me? And then the question, but the question will change. If it is a to be verb, like is or are, the to be verb will go in the back of the question. So, in a direct question, where is the bank? In an indirect question, can you tell me where the bank is? Everyone please repeat. No tienen que prender el micrófono. Just go ahead and repeat with me. Can you tell me where the bank is? Can you tell me where the bank is? Okay, so this is for a simple present to be question. Noten el cambio. Notice the change of where it goes. Now let's look at this simple present, but another verb. When we make a question with 99% of the verbs in English, we use the auxiliary verb do. For example, how often do the buses run? This is the simple present. Yes? We use do, and do takes the time, en este caso the present, and the conjugation based on the noun. The conjugation based on the noun. So, buses do. Bus es el noun, aquí el nombre. Buses do. Okay? When we write the indirect question, we begin again with a polite introduction, and then we say la misma pregunta without the auxiliary verb do. How often the buses run? Can you tell me how often the buses run? Can you tell me how often the buses run? Notan que el do se desaparece. We do not use the auxiliary verb do in the indirect questions. I want you to notice now, cuando está conjugado, when it's conjugated. Esta was it wasn't conjugated, it was basic. But this one is conjugated. Okay? We conjugate it with does. What time does the bookstore open? Este does pertenece to the bookstore. It does. Buses son they, porque son muchos. They do. Este es it, so the verb conjugate is it does. It does. What time does the bookstore open? Pero dijimos that we do not use the auxiliary verb do or does in direct questions. Bueno, como este tomó originalmente la conjugación, it took the conjugation of the verb, pero ya no existe, look at open. Tiene su S, está conjugada, it's conjugated, como si fuera afirmativa, like if it were an affirmative. Porque el do ya no existe. So it becomes, do you know? This is the polite introduction. And then the question, what time the bookstore opens? Bueno, let's look at the simple past. En la misma manera that the do doesn't exist, so the verb must be conjugated, the same thing happens with the time. When did you go to the mall? Did is the auxiliary verb in the past. But look at this question. There is no auxiliary verb do. So, ¿qué pasa con el go? It goes in the past. It becomes the past. Because the auxiliary verb ya no está para ayudarlo. Okay? The same thing happens with the present perfect. With the present perfect, it's simple. It's actually pretty simple. Which touristic places have you visited lately? Look at the difference. Can you tell me, ahí está the introduction, which places you have visited? En vez de have you visited, it's you have, como si fuera afirmativa, like if it were affirmative. You have visited. The same thing with will. Instead of where will you go, can you tell me where you will go? They change places. And the same thing with can. Where can I catch the bus? Can you tell me where I can catch the bus? Cambiaron de lugar. Okay? Any questions about this? It's a little bit confusing. So today what we are going to do is practice. Okay, porque yo puedo quedarme aquí explicando 2 horas, and cuando llega la práctica you're going to be like, huh? So we need to do practices. Before we do the practice, there's one last thing I want to look at, and that is if we are using do. Let me make this black. If we are using do in the question, for example, if it is a yes or no question, do you like pizza? This is a direct question. Do you like pizza? If we want to be nice and we want to make an indirect question, can you tell me if you like pizza? Let's look at another one. Is it raining? That is direct. La respuesta will be yes or no. The answer is going to be yes or no. So the question will be, do you know if it is raining? Let's do one last one. Are you happy? Can you tell me if you are happy? Did he eat or did he sleep well? ¿Durmió bien? Did he sleep well? Can you tell me if, ya no hay el auxiliar, do en el pasado, so if he sería el verbo en el pasado, slept well. Can you tell me if he slept well? Anytime it is a yes or no question, notan lo que pasa. Notice what happens. If. Si tiene el do, if the do was in the question, like here, it disappears. It doesn't exist anymore. If is in the question, it changes the place with the it. These two change places. Como digo, it's a lot of information. It's a lot of information and ustedes se han acostumbrado a esto, direct questions. But we are going to learn about traveling. And when we travel, well, hay mucha gente que no conocemos. We don't know a lot of people. So we need to learn how to ask, excuse me, can you tell me? Ask more politely. Okay? Let's do some practices. Any questions before we go to the practice? Okay, perfect. This is the practice we are going to do. I want you to complete the entire practice. There is practice of listening. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 listening practices. I want you to click on the link. It will direct you to the website. And here you will see the listening practice. You click play. You listen. For example, it's 38 seconds. It's very short. And you answer the question from the listening. Si la sacaste mal, hazla otra vez. Do it again. Okay? This is for your listening practice. When you finish that one, go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then I want you to practice the grammar. I want you to practice the grammar for indirect questions. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links. Creo que una está repetida. Eso he escuchado. Si está repetida, you don't have to do it 2 times. Complete all of these grammar practices. And finally, I put these examples for you to see of how to make it direct to indirect. And I put 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. And I want you to make 3 sentences that are indirect. For the past simple, for the present perfect, for the future, using can. So you're going to make a total of 1, 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 sentences using indirect questions. And finally, I put vocabulary that we are seeing this period. We're talking about food and travel. So here's some food vocabulary that I want you to look at, and I just want you to answer this. You're going to connect the sentences like this and write the information here. Basado en lo que lees aquí. What you read here, what is, for example, eggplant. Which one is eggplant? This one, this one, this one, y escriben el nombre que le pertenece. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Here is the link for everyone. I'm going to put it in the chat. Lo dejo view only. You cannot edit. I want you to make these answers on a separate sheet of paper, on a separate document. And if you want me to revise, if you want me to look at it, send it to my email. Okay? All right, here we go. I put the link in the chat. You have from now until 8 o'clock. This is going to take us the entire class. When you finish, si terminan, and it's 7:50, do independent work for week 7 and week 8. O si no han hecho el independent work for week 3, 4, or 5, aproveche porque ya estoy cerrando notas para el primer corte. So if you finish early, do independent work, and then you may leave. Alright guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. I will be here like a tutor for you to answer any questions you may have.
Profe, ¿te puedo hacer una pregunta?
Claro que sí.
Es que yo te envié la tarea, el homework 5, pero tú no me respondiste si lo habías recibido o no.
¿Cuándo me lo enviaste?
La semana pasada, el martes.
Ok, lo más
No.
probable, yo voy por como olas. Entonces yo voy, miro un montón y respondo. Entonces si me ha llegado antes de yo revisar la última ola, no he respondido todavía.
Ah, vale, profe.
Ok.
Teacher, los resultados de los listening se los mandamos.
No, Nico. You only send me the grammar practice. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Ok.
Profe, ¿esto solo es para repasar, cierto? ¿O tiene nota?
This is a practice. This is a practice. All right, guys, I'm looking at the independent work for period 1, weeks 3, 4, and 5. When you guys finish this, when you finish the lab, some of you really need to go back and look at your independent work. Okay? All right, guys, there's about 8 minutes left of class. I hope everyone is finished or finishing the lab for today. Please make sure that you guys look at independent work. I'm looking at the grades, and many of you have not completed independent work for weeks 3, 4, or 5. The grades will close on Friday evening. So tomorrow in the evening, I will look again. At around 4 o'clock, I will look, and whatever is not completed, I will not accept. So with independent work only. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys finish this lab. If you want me to review the sentences that you've made, send them to my email. Okay, please make sure you send them to my email so that I can review the sentences that you've made. If not, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. If there's no questions, you are free to go for tonight, okay?
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you.